So this is an interesting carving. I've carved out the top here, and it's your typical Santa. He's got a little present right here, and I've got the tassel up here. I'm going to do a little bit later because I don't want it to get snapped off or broken. But the reason for the video is really just to show you what I want to do down here. So on the stand that he's on, and this is just a piece of 2x2 basswood, what I want to do is put like a little ribbon and have a swag kind of deal going on here. In the past, I've done things like this on the base. Here's a little guy that is holding a present. And I've done this, which is really popular too, you know, where I put the Christmas trees in. Little flourish of holly there, which is a pain in the butt to paint, by the way. But on this one, I thought I'd do like a little something different. So, you know, the first thing that I do, at least personally, is, you know, visually what's going to be the highest. So the first thing I need to do is cut this line with this V-gouge, which is a 70 degree by an 1/8. Okay, so I need to do this the whole way around. You know, all four sides. But having done that, you know, I've got to look at this and say, okay, this is obviously the high point. Next are the edges of the bow, and then the third point, the lowest point, but yet still needs to be defined, is this swag. So that's the kind of the way I look at it, you know, is like, here's the high, here's the 2, and here's the 3. This is probably like between a 2 and a 3 down here. But in carving this, what I need to do is remove all of this. So there's quite a bit of work to do here, you know, and kind of make that swag stand out. It just can't be flat carved. You have to have, create an illusion, even if it's just a little bit of some depth here. And I've got a tool that I do checkering with that I'm going to try to find. You know, it's that checkering tool. I don't know, a good way to explain it is on some carvings you see like it has little dots in the background like this. You know, little dots that go, and it's kind of neat because it gives the background a little texture, and it's really just a stamp, which, you know, with basswood you could just push it in. So I'm going to get off my stool here and look for that. But basically that's what I'm going to try to do here. So I got the 1, 2, 3 approach. And again, it doesn't have to be super deep. It just needs to be deep enough to show the detail in this little guy. So I think that'll be a nice looking Santa when he's done. And if I like the way it turns out, I'll probably knock a few more out. So the next thing is to use this V-gouge and just part this swag. And I'll show you what he looks like. Okay, so this is where I stand. I just took that V-gouge and I just went around each individual bow like that. So the next step is to take the knife and just deepen that a little bit, sharpen it up, and then I'm going to back cut and kind of get in there and actually make the bow stand out a little bit. So that's my next step. Just take this little bit of pressure and kind of go like this. Trace it out again. So I'm going to do that, then I'm going to use something like this to get in there and back cut to that stop cut. And I'm not worried about the swag because I'm defining this and this. Once I get this done, I'll redraw this in once I've removed some material and kind of take it to the next step. Okay, so my next step is just to try to define these ribbons a little bit. I'm going to use this V-gouge to clean up these a little bit and kind of make these stand out. And the next step is to use the V-gouge for this part, the swag. So I'll knock that out and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is where he stands right now. I've got the swag that I've used this 70 degree by an 1/8 V-gouge to kind of clean up. The next step is going to be, like always, I like to follow it up with the knife here and just kind of sharpen up that cut. Create a little bit more of a stop cut that I can remove the material against. Got Watch the knife here. And before I actually started to do the 70-degree V-gouge cuts, I did round off these edges just a little bit, these four corners. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create my stop cuts, then come in here with my almost flat gouge and just kind of work against that stop cut, being careful not to mess this up, what I've done over here. Okay, I've got them cleaned up. I put the little tassel on the top, and I think it looks pretty good. Give you an idea of what the ribbon turned out to be. A little bit of a light touch 220 grit sandpaper. Some of the tools that I used, obviously this for parting, the 70-degree by 1/8, and this little tool, which is a number 3 by 1/8. I used that to very carefully take the edges off of these bows like that. I used it to do a little bit of undercutting in areas like this. I use this tool to kind of get in here like this on the edge of the bow. Flip it around, pop out that little piece to give you that little tail there. And of course, right in here, I use the 70-degree gouge, and I did that to kind of give a little bit more definition as this part of the bow comes into that part of the bow. And then I use this tool, which is a number 11 by 1/8, and I use this to just kind of give a little contour to the bow itself. Obviously, you want to keep it dimensionally accurate. That is the shape. You know, the amount of material you take out here should be equal down here. And I wanted to do checkering. I couldn't find the tool. I'm going to have to find it because that would give a nice relief to it. I plan on doing a few more of these, so maybe I'll do another one and just kind of bring it in and show you what it looks like when I get the checkering done, because it's a really nice effect. You know, the English, I think, have used that a lot when they've done their carving, but altogether, even without the checkering, folks, I think it turned out pretty good. Just another way to dress up a Santa or a carving that you've got, just another idea. Thanks for watching.